All right, people. Today is going to be the movie review of Halloween. Hold on. Do you have anything to say, Michael? See, look at my new horror shirt. Freddy, I saw the movie, and I gotta say I was not impressed. Freddy, you can't talk. Your movie sucked. What you say, boy? Freddy, don't make me get on the phone and call Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I want my rematch. Jason, what about you? Damn, Jason, do you ever say shit? Jason, like, get the fucking camera out of my face. Michael, you're the one that got the movie. Say something, Michael. Say something. Damn, they don't want to say nothing. All right. Hold on. You know how I do my movie reviews. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. If you ain't seen the movie, then you need to go see the movie because this is for people who have already seen the movie. If you haven't, don't click on this video and go, damn it, Alex, why you ruined the movie review when I ain't seen the movie? Because we always get 2 or 3 people who ain't seen the movie, but they click on a video that says movie review, and then they get all in their feelings. Isn't that right, Chucky? Chucky don't want to say shit. What about you, Scream? He don't want to say nothing either, apparently. Alright. This movie opens up with them going to the mental hospital. And they have these 2 researchers / journalists that supposedly want to understand what happened 40 years ago and things of that nature. When we get there, the guy has the mask and Michael's standing outside, and the doctor, who's supposed to be the student of Dr. Loomis, is fascinated with Michael Myers' history. It's not until they take the mask out that all the other mental patients start to go insane. They go bonkers once they see this mask. And that's when you know that the mask must have the power. So at first when you watch this film, you assume that Michael Myers' mask has all the power. That's what you assume. Now, here's where the movie gets very funny. They cut to the next scene where they're driving in a car and they're arguing, you know, the man and the woman, they're the research team, they're discussing should they even talk to Laurie Strode, which is played by actress Jamie Lee Curtis, who looks good for her age in this movie. You know, she looks like a fit grandmother. She lives in the middle of nowhere in Haddonfield, and they try to offer her $3,000 to talk about what happened 40 years ago. You know, and this was, you know, typical fashion. And then they cut to the modern day where we've got social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and they got him on a bus. Now, they never show how the bus crashed, but the bus crashed, and here comes this kid and this father arguing about he doesn't want to fish with his dad. Michael has somehow broken out of the bus. He's taken out the police officer. He kills the little kid, which that's interesting because in old Halloween films, Michael Myers would never kill a child in his life. And this was the first time that they said, let's break that rule and let's have Michael Myers actually go all the way. So little by little, they were building up to him putting the mask on. He hadn't exactly got the mask yet. They try to throw back from Halloween 4 where Dr. Loomis goes to a gas station and, you know, he kills the guy, takes the guy's clothes, steals the guy's pickup truck, and goes to Haddonfield. So they tried to harken back to Halloween 1 and 2, and then they tried to harken back to Halloween 4. So despite them saying it was going to ignore past films, this film actually acknowledges Halloween and Halloween 2 existence. It kind of acknowledges Halloween 4 in a way, and it does acknowledge Halloween 5. because he gets the mask back, but the way he does it is he goes into the women's restroom and he terrorizes the hell out of the female. Now, the man goes into the gas station and realizes everyone's been murdered. He goes with a crowbar thinking he can stop Michael, and Michael shows that superhuman, immense strength that we know he is. And he takes the guy out pretty simple. I mean, the guy tries to put up a fight, but you know, against Michael Myers, you're getting your ass whooped. And he takes the girl out too. Now, they have the cop from the first film who was there in the previous films. So they try to bring back original characters with a original feel to this film. Now, when he does show up for Halloween, they go back to, like I said, they harken back to Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and they do acknowledge the existence of Halloween 4 and 5, where there's the girl wanting to have sex with the guy in the house. He actually kills them, which I thought was hilariously funny. He kills them before they can even have sex. Normally, you would have sex and then you get hacked to pieces. Here, they didn't even get a chance to get their freak on. He took them out. The granddaughter breaks up with her boyfriend and she's walking towards the house. And the movie goes into a different direction, however. See, in this, we see Michael, he gets run over by a car and he's laid out. And the way they changed up his origins, because I feel like his origins were being changed, and they changed his origins up to the point where if you say a name, like if you say his mother's name, then he just wakes up like nothing happened. Now, the doctor puts on the mask and kills the cop, and kidnaps the granddaughter. Now, the fact that these two cops are sitting out here joking and, you know, talking about food is, I don't know if they were watching Scream 4, but they took that from Scream 4, because, you know, it's like, okay, two cops are arguing about food. I don't know what the hell that's about, but okay, fine. Another thing that I didn't think was, you know, typical Halloween was they try to harken back to the first film again. When he's out trick-or-treating for Halloween, he kills an old lady. He beats her to death with a hammer and steals her knife. I guess they were trying to tell us that in the original Halloween, he took the lady's knife and the lady started screaming. So this time they made it where he would do the same thing again, but he would just kill the lady. He kills another lady who didn't even do anything. It's not explained how he gets in the second house, but he gets in the house and he just kills the second lady. So that's not even explained in this movie, which I'm going to get to why I had some trouble with this film. Now, when we get to the intense fighting, when it's time for him to come face to face with his sister, they made Michael Myers more of a modern day tactical murderer than a conventional killer, because he kills the cops, he takes their car, he kills the husband, and he gets into the house anyway. Now, the fact that she shoots 2 of his fingers off and he doesn't show any signs of emotion, we already know how Michael Myers is. He's one mentally disturbed, stone cold motherfucker. I mean, they fight. She's got a gun. He's got his knife. And the fact that he would trick her and she would set up traps. Like, this Laurie Strode, they made her very tactical. They made her very crafty. Like, you weren't going to just take an advantage of an old 55 or 60-year-old lady. You were going to have the fight of your life. So they made it where Michael's got the fight of his life, but he still looked like this strong, powerful, terrifying presence that if you're not careful, you'll get taken out like that. What gets funny to the movie is the fact that she plays dead and tricks Michael. Michael chased the granddaughter as a decoy, which I thought was funny. He let the granddaughter get away because he knew it was going to lure him to the house. Now, the fighting kind of takes off when he's face to face with the daughter, you know, of Laurie Strode. And then the fact that she tricks him and he falls for it. and then to be trapped in the house and they set the house on fire. Now, here's where I had a problem with the movie. The beginning of the movie, even though it harkened back to Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and they acknowledged Halloween 4 and 5 existence, they kind of did take something from, and I don't want to say his name because he's mostly hated by the horror community, but they took his concept for the beginning of the film and try to make it better than what he did. And then they must have been watching Halloween Resurrection in conjunction of Halloween H2O, and they tried to me it felt like they were copying the ending to Halloween Resurrection, where at the end of that film, Michael wakes up half burnt with the mask on his face, and he's going to an even darker place than from before. Here, I felt that you were getting the Michael Myers that you've always wanted. The problem was, why make us wait almost 10 years to give us this type of Michael Myers? And the fact that they burned the whole house down, you would assume that because the grandmother, the mother, and the daughter all escaped, you assume that, okay, that's got to be the end of the film. What more could you possibly show in this film? Now, the action and them trying to go back to those past films, that was all classic Michael Myers. You know, bringing the theme song on right where he goes for Halloween, that's all classic Michael Myers film noir, you know, going back to nostalgia. Now for the disappointment. Even though the movie started off real strong and powerful in the beginning, towards the middle and the end, if you take the fighting away and you take the past throwbacks to the gas station, Haddonfield, the cop, if you take all of those stuff away from this film, what you get is a film that struggles to explain what is Michael Myers' motivation. And I felt that when it came to the fighting, you knew what his motivation was. But they made it seem like he needs the mask for the motivation. And that's why I said if you look at the beginning of this film, when he's in the mental hospital, they ripped that off from someone else's film who's largely hated by the horror community. And you know who remade it Halloween 5 years ago. I don't have to say his name. He does rock music. He became a film director. You'll figure out who I'm talking about. And then to copy the ending to Halloween Resurrection, it's like, why are you copying someone else's beginning, and why you're trying to rip off an ending from another Halloween film that's not a part of this timeline? That's what it felt like to me. And at the end, you could hear him breathing that kind of indicate and signified he's not even dead to begin with. So if the whole house burned down, you're just naturally assuming that if the whole house burns down with his immense superhuman strength, you would want to say he would find some way to break out of there and pick up where he left off. So this movie even teases a sequel. Yeah, so probably in another 3 or 4 years, we're gonna probably get a highly anticipated sequel. Now, where do I rate this film? I give this movie an 8 out of 10. It's got a lot of action, a lot of excitement. It does bring back a lot of nostalgia pops. They bring in Halloween 1 and 2. For those that don't remember Halloween 1 and 2, they bring things that remind you of the first film. Dr. Loomis and Laurie Strode remind you of the first film. The cop from the first and second film. They do acknowledge the existence of Halloween 4 and Halloween 5. And they ripped off the remake of Halloween. And then they took the ending for Halloween Resurrection in conjunction of Halloween H2O. Because this weren't the first time Laurie Strode faked her death and fought Michael Myers. So that's why I said in conjunction with Halloween H2O. Now, this movie does ignore the curse of Michael Myers. It ignores that film. And it does ignore the other 2 films that were directed by that film director that was a rock star. It tries to ignore it even though it ripped off the beginning of the mental hospital. Now, it gets an 8 out of 10 because this film contradicts itself. And what I mean by contradict itself, I mean in the traditional sense that this movie doesn't know what direction it wants to take Michael. I would have preferred what I saw in Halloween Resurrection, where they took him to a darker place and I wanted to see where that darker place they were taking him. In this film, they tried to bring him into today's society, which, you know, like I said, they've done that with past horror films, and it's like, to me, if it's gonna be Michael Myers Halloween, it's gotta feel like it's Michael Myers Halloween. Now, some people might love this film, and some people might feel like how I feel. I feel divided. I like 60% of this movie, maybe 65, maybe 70% of it, and then the rest of it I have trouble. So it's like a basketball game. It starts off real strong and powerful, and then towards the middle and the end, they just drop the ball. So I give this movie an 8 out of 10. I'm not saying by any means this is a great film, and I'm not saying by any means this is a terrible film. I'm just saying it gets an 8 out of 10 because you did copy the beginning from a Halloween film that was like 5 or 6 years ago, and then you took the ending from Halloween Resurrection and said, well, let's do that same ending again and just have him die, which that's the next problem I have. If he's supposed to be mortal, then why would you indicate at the end of the film there's going to be a sequel? So then he's actually immortal the whole entire time. They just wanted to trick the audience into thinking, no, he's mortal, he's not gonna be around. Well, in all Halloween films, he always comes back. So, and Halloween H2O indicated it that he wasn't immortal. So I can see why they would try that with this film, but then it contradicts itself. So when you watch this film, you're going to see what I'm seeing in the film. And you might have to watch the movie 2 times, 3 times, 4 times to even understand what I'm saying. So until then, peace.